Ow, my face. That was not... Oh gosh. Oh, this is bad. Oh, this is really, really bad. Get me out of this chair. Get me out of this chair. Oh, there's fire and there's smoke and we're in a very enclosed space. This is not good. Give me the freaking fire extinguisher. Ah, don't burn. Don't touch. Oh, okay. We need to get rid of that. Oh, great. Well, fire's gone, but smoke is still here. I guess consult the blue iPad and see what's going on instead of maybe clearing out the smoke. No? Okay. All right, whatever. Load it up. What is happening? Where are we?
Suffered minor head trauma. This is considered an optimal outcome.
Oh, good.
This PDA has now rebooted in emergency mode with one directive: to keep you alive on an alien world. Please refer to the databank for detailed survival advice. Good luck.
Good luck? You're just going to tell me good luck? That's it? On an alien world? What? Okay, what is happening? Hold on. So I got to take stock of my surroundings. What is so we got a radio that's damaged. Okay. Secondary systems also damaged. A fabricator, which, well, that does the fabricating. Okay, that makes sense. A storage container with flares and water and food. Okay. And a medical kit fabricator. I'm probably going to need that. What the heck do you mean alien world? What happened? Where are we? Okay, you know what? I need to let the smoke out and I need to actually see what's going on because this is... Oh.
The Aurora suffered orbital hull failure. Cause unknown. 0 human life signs detected.
Well, that's just great. We're stuck on an alien planet. That was our ticket here. Now we can't get off of it, and everyone we know and love is dead. Well, that's Subnautica for you. What is up, my Squirtleites? It is I, your king, welcoming you to a brand new Let's Play. Typically, when you see a Subnautica playthrough on YouTube or Twitch and the like, it is a reactionary, blind first playthrough. But not this time, baby! Nope, we are going to be doing a proper Let's Play because I just want to gush about this game like I do with any other Let's Play. This game is awesome. So back during 2021... at the very beginning of the year, Sony put out a play-at-home initiative where they released a bunch of games, mostly VR games, but there were a couple non-VR games, and they gave them away all for free. And Subnautica was actually in the group of games that was given out, and it was the only one that I ended up playing among about 60 or 70 other games that I played throughout the year, only some of which I finished, but... out of all the games that I played in 2021, Subnautica was the one that impressed me the most. And it's a little bit interesting because this game is a survival game. I have gone on record many times saying that I don't like survival games. I don't like the systems that they are known for. I find them to be very tedious, boring, and they often get in the way of themselves with their dumb survival mechanics. And this game seems to be no different. As you can see in the bottom left corner, we have an oxygen meter, we have a health meter, a food meter, and a water meter. So what makes this game so different from other survival games? Well, there is, well, a couple crucial elements, but there's one big one that we're going to get out of the way right off the bat. So let's head on in through the bottom of the pod. Have ourselves a look. Yes, I mean, if the title wasn't already a dead giveaway, Subnautica takes place entirely, or almost entirely at least, underwater. You have oxygen to manage, you need to get food, you need to get water, you need to be able to breathe, and you need to be able to survive just like this. How the heck are we going to do that? Well, it's really actually not as bad as you might think. This game is... it's a couple things, but I would not call it necessarily difficult. It's actually a pretty easy game. It's just understanding the game that really makes it a whole lot easier. Now, we're going to continue to monitor our oxygen, but I'm going to have a look around while we discuss this game, and I'm going to grab a couple of things, a couple odds and ends. So, like I said, Subnautica is... this is an open-world survival crafting game from Unknown Worlds Entertainment, who, before this, were known for the Natural Selection series. And I say known very loosely because the only game in the series that was, like, really well-known was Natural Selection 2. It has a bit of a cult following on PC. But Subnautica has since then definitely reclaimed the crown as Unknown World's most well-known game. That's even with its sequel in mind. This game released on Early Access back in 2014, very end of 2014, and it remained in Early Access for 4 years, during which it got a lot of marketing, saw a lot of different changes, and eventually became the game that is now pretty darn popular amongst content creators. And content creators are not how I found this game. Like I said, I found this game entirely thanks to the Play at Home initiative. I just decided to play the game on a whim. Like, I'd heard about it, certainly, but I didn't watch playthroughs of it. I didn't really know what was going on with it. And once I finally got around to playing it, like I said, I was very, very just thoroughly impressed. And I am going to swim to the surface before I black out and drown here. That would not be good. So what we're going to do right off the bat is we're just kind of going around grabbing some stuff. Now, you might be tempted to just kind of grab everything you see, but everything in this game has a purpose to it. As you will see, as you grab more things, the PDA is going to explain certain applications, or at least hint at certain applications that certain creatures have, certain items have, and the like. But I know exactly what I'm doing because I want to give you guys an understanding and an idea of what you're in for. Now, I'm not just grabbing any fish. I'm particularly grabbing these bladderfish as well as peepers, which are these little blue guys that are floating around with the eyeballs on the sides, giant eyeballs, because these two are going to provide two incredibly important resources: food and water. Bladderfish are for water, all the rest of the fish are for food, and peepers are one of the best for food. We will definitely find other fish that provide even more food, but in the meantime, peepers will do. There are other fish you can grab as well, but these are my preferred favorites. Now, once we get our food and water situation taken care of, I can start explaining the other stuff that we're going to go after. I also did grab some metal salvage because that is going to be used for titanium, which we are going to need to craft ourselves an oxygen tank. But we'll go through everything here in the fabricator, see what's available to us right from the get-go, because this is obviously what you're going to want to do as soon as you start getting your stuff. Man, I grabbed a lot more metal salvage than I thought. Holy cow. Okay, so let's start making some stuff. So you go in here in water, you can see filtered water, bladderfish. These provide 20 of your water meter for every one that you drink, so you are going to need to make a lot of them. But don't worry, there will be more efficient ways of getting water later on. We can also start cooking our peeper and our boomerangs and whatnot. So let's do that while the PDA talks.
While disposing of the skeletal structure, bodily fluids, and internal organs, thus rendering them safe for human consumption.
So let's start eating some of these things, and I'm gonna just eat all of it, because the thing about cooked food is that it doesn't last forever. It's only lasts for I want to say a few minutes or so before it starts to go bad and it rots away, and it gives you less and less food before it just becomes completely unusable. However, there is a way around this. Now, let's start going through all of our resources here. So we got materials. We got titanium ingots, silicone rubber, bleach, glass, copper wire, batteries, wiring kits, computer chips, all things that we're going to want to start to get. And in fact, the battery is the first thing I'm going to want to go after, so we will go grab those acid mushrooms here in a second. You can look in sustenance. We have our water, like we said. We got filtered water and then disinfected water, which that is what we make with bleach. And actually, disinfected water is better than filtered water. We'll get into that a little bit later as well. We have our cooked food, which we can see from all the fish we grab. And there's cured food, which we're going to need salt for. Now, cured food is nice because while it doesn't give it as much, it doesn't refill our hunger meter as much, and it actually penalizes our thirst meter, the food lasts forever. It never goes bad. So that is the one upside to making cured food. You're going to want that whenever you go on long trips. We go into our personal stuff. We got equipment. Let's make that standard oxygen tank so we can jump our oxygen meter up from 45 seconds to 75. We got fins to make ourselves move faster. We can make first aid kits, floating air pump that we can use if we have pipes. We can create a chain that is going to allow us to breathe underwater from said pipes. We can also make more fire extinguishers if we need it. And we can now upgrade to a high-capacity O2 tank with glass and silver ore, as well as titanium. We got our tools. We got a scanner, repair tool, flashlight, which is going to replace flares very quickly. We got air bladders, survival knives, and habitat builders. Okay. Interesting. And then we have deployables. Sea Glide, a mobile vehicle bay. These are ingredients unknown. And then the waterproof locker. This is all the stuff that is immediately available to us. So the first things that I'm going to do is I want to get a survival knife and I want a scanner. And I need a battery to do it, and I need silicone rubber. So how are we going to go about getting those? Well, head back down. And yes, I know it is getting late. So I'm going to throw out some flares just because I'm not going to really be using those much anyway. Grab ourselves a bunch of these acid mushrooms, which is going to go great with the copper. Throw another flare down that way just to kind of light things up. And we have a little bit more freedom in the way we move around. Now I'm going to head over this way and watch out for these guys here. So these are gasopods. Gasopods are actually passive, but they do have a defense mechanism, which is that gas there. Wait, what?
Trend is consistent with damage to the Aurora's drive core sustained during planet fall.
Okay, well that's not good. So apparently the big ship is putting off radiation. That's something we're going to have to worry about. But anyways, as I was saying with these gasopods, if you get too close to them and get stuck in their gas cloud, that will actually hurt you. But otherwise, they're not super aggressive.
Distinct and diverse ecological biomes. Further study recommended.
I would love to study. Also, I apparently can't hold very much because it looks like my pockets are basically full. But I grabbed one of those, a creepvine seed cluster, because that is actually going to be necessary for some things that we are working on. So let's head back on over to our life pod. We grabbed our mushrooms. We grabbed the creepvine seeds. And let's get to building. We got to make some stuff. We need to start progressing. We need to figure out what we can actually do. We need to survive. We need tools to survive. We got to make tools. So let's head back on in here, and first things first. Let's explain the power situation really quickly. Might as well get that over with. So you can see the power up above, 44 out of 75. All of the power in this life pod is solar powered, so it doesn't go up unless the sun is out. And every single time you craft something in the fabricator, you use power as a result. So you are going to want to make sure that you don't overdo things, or you will eventually lose power and have to wait for the sun to come back up before you can do anything again. So I'm going to make a couple of batteries here with the 2 copper ores I have. In doing so, we also learned a blueprint for power cells, which we could make those, but I am not going to because we don't need one right now. So next thing, I'm going to head on over into my tools, and we're going to make ourselves a scanner, as well as a survival knife.
From salvage technology and to record alien biological data. Weapons were removed from standard survival blueprints following the massacre on Braxis Prime.
Wait, massacre on Braxis Prime? So, right there, the game is explaining that, well, everybody in this universe is or at least as far as Alterra is concerned, is a pacifist because, yeah, there was a lot of fighting and it was bad, and so they got rid of weapons, and basically all you have is a knife. Yeah, it's not the best alternative, I would say, but this game is not here to be like, hey, look, there's wildlife on this planet, kill all of it. No, that is not the idea of Subnautica. This is not a very violent game. This is just a game about surviving amidst the elements. So I'm going to do that. We're going to scan that up, and we're going to show what the scanner and knife can do. As you can see, I'm getting stuff here, like I'm getting little codex entries and the like, but the scanner is useful for more than just that. Now I'm going to scan this creepvine here.
30 seconds.
It's going to give us a little bit of information on that, but then I'm going to cut it with a knife. I'm going to do that exactly twice. I don't want to do it more than that. We're going to sim to the surface before we go dark here. Actually, this is probably a good opportunity to show this, but I'm going to go really, really close to the surface, but not quite up. Now watch the oxygen meter. Once it hits 0, it's not going to instantly kill us. In fact, it's going to give us a little bit of a grace period as things start to black out. And whoa, as soon as we get our oxygen back, our vision comes back. Thank goodness. So yeah, you do have a few more seconds beyond what your oxygen meter says before you outright die. So that is pretty good, and again, adds to the fact that this game is not super difficult. Now, it is a little bit hard doing anything right now, considering how dark it is. So let's head back on in. I might as well show you what this creepvine that we just got does. We can make it into fiber mesh, and with the fiber mesh, we can make ourselves, well, Pathfinder tool, which is not what I'm actually interested in. We can make first aid kits. So I don't just need my medical kit fabricator, which makes new med kits on a timer. I'm actually going to grab that as well, but we'll just stuff this one here in the storage container. Might as well put these guys in as well. I know we're already kind of full in there. But yeah, I can just make first aid kits on a whim, which is really, really, really nice. Yeah, I might as well store a couple other things in there. Let's put all of our fish in there. I'll keep the filtered water, but I'll put the nutrient block away. And I think other than that, we should be good. Okay, it looks like the sun is starting to come up, so now we're going to be able to get down to the nitty-gritty of things a little bit more. So, you need this scanner right off of the bat, because there is going to be a few things that you're going to instantly want to look around for. We need to venture a little bit further away from our life pod to start finding some really interesting stuff. I think I'm done catching fish. I'm done cutting creepvine, and I'm done grabbing seeds. Now I am looking for wreckage. Wreckage is incredibly important to progressing in this game, and I'm not just talking about this metal salvage here, because this is only good for titanium. No, we need actual proper wreckage sites, or containers like this right here, which contains a Sea Glide fragment. So let's scan that. Cool. Sea Glide fragment scanned. Overall progress 50%, 1 of 2. We need to find exactly one more of those, and that is going to synthesize a blueprint for us. So let's continue on over this way. Just kind of stray a little bit further away. We don't have a whole lot of movement, and honestly, I do need to get myself some fins so that we can remedy this situation. But we're just going to continue to swim on over here and find ourselves some stuff. So what have we got in here? There's another Sea Glide fragment, and this is incredibly important to get. The Sea Glide is going to be your first major mode of transportation in this game. It's also why I created a secondary battery. We also have beacon fragments. Let's grab those. Beacons are very, very useful for marking spots in this game, because this game does not have a map. You might be thinking, wait, what the heck? No map? You can't even, like, earn one later? No, not at all. This is the sort of game that encourages you to explore the world for yourself and know it that way. It's not going to hold your hand. It's not going to give you a map. It's not going to point you in the right direction at all times. It is expecting you to fully get its world and become familiar with your surroundings and all the things in it. And the funny thing about this game, unlike so many other survival games, it is not procedurally generated. This is a set map that is always the same in every single playthrough. But at the same time, it is still something that you have to get used to. Even on this is my third playthrough now, I feel like I'm only just starting to fully grasp and understand and even memorize some of the most key locations in the game and how to get to those spots. Because, yeah, you definitely have to feel things out. The only thing that's procedurally generated in this entire game is actually the location where your life pod lands. Now, my life pod actually landed pretty far away from the Aurora, as per usual. A lot further east of the Aurora than I usually get. You can sometimes even get life pods as close as, like, right here, further south, all over the place, in this immediate vicinity. This area that we're in right now is known as the Safe Shallows, and that is the kelp forest. These two border on each other. They border each other very frequently in a lot of spots throughout the map. So this area you don't have to worry about a whole lot in terms of danger, but that's not to say that it is completely devoid of danger. There are things to worry about and watch for. Let's see, I don't need another Sea Glide fragment. If you scan more Sea Glide fragments, it'll actually turn into titanium. So might as well show that real quick. That's how that works. If you ever need more, I guess that is a good way of getting it. But titanium is in abundance. What I also want is things like copper, as well as other scannables. And so if I head over here, I'm trying to find another beacon fragment, because I only got the one before we head back. We're going to get ourselves a Sea Glide soon, don't you worry. Because the Sea Glide, like I said, is our first mode of transportation, and it's going to be very, very nice for moving about the world. Let's get some more limestone chunks. Probably should scan that too. Basically, everything you can interact with this game is in this game is scannable. Now, this guy right here, this is a stalker, and he is typically going to be your first aggressive critter that you're going to run into in this game. One of two. There's another one we'll get into here in a minute, and luckily I've been able to avoid it thus far. But the stalker he's aggressive. He will attack you and chase you. And in fact, I think, is he going after me right now? No, he's not. He will chase after you, and he'll try to take a nip out of you, and it does a little bit of damage, but it's nothing too serious. However, the nice thing about stalkers is that you can actually distract them with metal salvage. They like shiny things, so if you drop shiny things, they will decide, you know what, I'm going to go after the shiny thing instead, and they will typically leave you alone. So like this guy is attacking me right now, and he's kind of doing circles. It's a little easy to avoid them, honestly. But if I had a little bit more time, I could have gone into my PDA and dropped some metal salvage really quickly, and he would have gone after that instead. I'll have to show that at some point. But that's not the only thing that's interesting about Stalkers, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, because we don't really need that immediately, but in due time. In due time. I'm also going to scan these. I do need these fragments for the mobile vehicle bay. That'll be useful later. Get some more copper. What do we got here? Oh, the last mobile vehicle bay fragment. Well, that's good that we've already unlocked that. It's going to be really, really nice. We're going to be using that later. Also down here, we have ourselves some quartz. Now, we have to be very, very careful when we venture into cave systems like this. And this is why we're going to want to get ourselves our Sea Glide, because that is going to allow us to deal with the dangers that are in there. And by dangers, I mean one danger. There is one danger, at least in the safe shallows. In the kelp forest, there's another danger that you have to worry about, but we'll get into that a little bit later. I'm going to drink a little bit of water here, kind of fill up on that. Let's head back on over to our life pod and see if we can make this. Actually, before I do that, I might as well check and make sure I have all the stuff for it. So if we head on in here, we can actually look at all of our blueprints. We need lubricant and copper wire. I need 2 copper and 1 of these, so I think we'll be fine. So let's take our copper back, because that's what we need for the copper wire. And those flares are still burning. Wow, they last quite a while. Don't worry though, we're gonna get a flashlight here relatively soon, I promise, and then we won't have to worry about it anymore. Let's climb back in. I'm gonna make the lubricant first. I'll make more silicone rubber with the other seed cluster. And then there's our copper wire, and now we can head down here to our deployables and get the Sea Glide. Now, the Sea Glide basically makes your swim speed a whole lot faster.
Your effective exploration range. For your safety, please pack supplies for long journeys and stay within 5 kilometers of the nearest life pod or habitat.
Can do.
The fabricator draws from available.
All right, so let's show how this thing works.
Using locally available materials.
So this thing's basically got a big propeller on the back of it, and it's just going to basically allow you to move around at very high speeds, which is super nice. And also, what kind of fragment is that? It's a mobile vehicle bay. I don't need that. So we're going to be able to go down into much scarier areas with this thing, like down here in the kelp forests, and grab ourselves stuff that we haven't yet seen before. Like right now, I'm currently looking for sandstone chunks, which have a little bit more rare materials than limestone chunks. In fact, here is one. So let's scan that. These contain lead, silver, and gold. And what I am currently looking for is silver, because I would very much like to be able to upgrade my oxygen tank again. Now, with the Sea Glide, we also don't have to worry about drowning as much, because we can quickly Sea Glide to the surface should we get ourselves in a bad situation. So let's do that. So I get a little more copper there. There's the silver ore I was looking for. So now, once we hurry to the surface, and like I said, look at that. We got up there in, what, 5 seconds? Pretty darn fast, all the way from 100 meters down. The Sea Glide really opens things up for you right off of the bat, which is super nice. Now, I probably should clarify before we get anywhere near the end of this first episode that I am playing this on PlayStation 5. This version was released last year at the same time as the Xbox Series X and Nintendo Switch versions. I'll get into the differences in all of those versions and what versions I recommend and the like later on, because there are some downsides with this game that are definitely worth mentioning, and we'll probably talk about that in the next episode, actually. Oh, it's so hard to scan these fish sometimes. Can I scan the boomerang? Thank you. Come on. There we go. Yeah, we'll get into all that a little bit later, but I'm playing this on PlayStation 5, which is why the frame rate is so unbelievably smooth, and also why I actually am playing at a reasonably high FOV, although this is the max FOV that PlayStation 5 allows, which is slightly lower than what PC can go up to, but it's still pretty good. I think that's just about everything. Now, real quick, I might as well show this. So we got this. Is this what I think it is? Oh, No, it's not. Okay, no, this one's safe. So I'm going to grab myself some quartz because this is necessary for glass. So we're going to grab some of that. I'll save the sandstone for later. But I want to show really quickly what lurks down in the caves of the safe shallows here before we end this episode. Let's see. Where are you? I know you're around here somewhere. We got to go. Aha! There you are. So down there, you might see it. There is a little black pod with a yellow eyeball poking out. Let's go closer. Ah! Run, 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 run! Okay, so that right there is a crash fish. Crash fish are jerks. They will sit lying in ambush, wait for you, and the second you get close, they will sprint at you at full force, screaming at the top of their lungs, and they will suicide bomb you. They are not fun. They don't hurt too terribly bad, but they are gosh dang annoying, and I want to scan the plant. Really? Detecting? Yeah, so that's the thing about crash fish. They are going to chase you down, they'll try to kill you, but the good news is that once you get away from them, they are going to leave a little bit of sulfur behind, and sulfur is necessary for a couple of things that we'll want to craft. Last thing I want to show real quick is this. I've already gone over it a couple times. This is brain coral. You're not going to run into this in the game too many times, but if you do, this is actually an infinite supply of oxygen. You can just sit here and take 3 bubbles at a time, each of which gives you 10 seconds of oxygen back, and just fully replenish and go about your business without the need of resurfacing. You can also cut components from the brain coral too, should you so desire, although I am not going to be doing anything of the sort, at least not right now. Okay, I think that is about it. These shuttle bugs are not fish that we can actually grab. You can scan them, and they do stuff, but they're not really good for eating or anything along those lines. But, yeah, I think that's going to be it for this episode, guys. I feel like I gave you guys a pretty good rundown. The episodes for this Let's Play are going to be... I'm going to try to keep them on the longer side, 20 to 25 minutes, because if we go any lower than that, it's going to feel like nothing ever gets done in this game. That's not to say this is a super long game, but just due to the nature of progression and it always happening kind of in bursts, we're going to want to make these episodes a little bit longer. So... next episode, guys, we're going to get a little bit more into the nitty-gritty. We're going to take our Sea Glide for a spin, and we're going to see if we can move on further and also upgrade my oxygen, if possible. So thank you all so very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.